You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
Here he goes. Throwing it down. How about a poster? Anthony Davis is on fire.
You're listening to the Pelicans post-game report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're now listening to the Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network. I'm Big Q chiming with you, and on tonight's podcast, we'll be recapping the Pelicans' 122 to 116 loss to the OKC Thunder. Out there in OKC, the Pelicans finishing up on a 6-game road trip, 0-6. And if you're a fan of the Pelicans, this is a most disconcerting event. I didn't even think that they would lose 6 straight. But without further ado, before we get into the matchup breakdown, let's give you a round of applause for joining the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network. This is podcast 266. That's right, 266 on the Pelican Postgame Report. Welcome aboard, all new and established listeners to the Pelican Postgame Report. Of course, this is a very interesting development because, you talk about peaks and valleys. The Pelicans started the season off 4-0, and everybody was flying through there. We were ecstatic because it's been a long time since that happened. Then just as high as they go up, the fast they fall, as fast as they crash to the ground. And I mean, what a crash. 6 games, 7 days or something like that, some ridiculousness. They played 5 games in 7 days, which you have 2 days off. That is an entirely taxing situation. And of course, with the last couple of games, excluding this game against OKC, they did look a little tired, as we documented on the last show, Pelican Postgame Report number 265, when we recapped the Blazers and Spurs rematch. This game was a little bit more competitive. As the Pelicans really wanted to snap that snide. And I said on the last show, I said, you know what? I think the Pelicans can be able to snap this snide because they really want to, because they don't want to go back home and have to, come back to town, tail between their legs, saying, oh my goodness, you went 0-6 on the road. That's really, really disconcerting to me. Coach Gentry said a few games back, hey man, it's going to be fine. It's still very early in the season. But things have a way of spiraling out of control if you don't check them. And I'm not with the mindset of, we lost 4 or 5 games in a row. I don't know who believes that nonsense. You tell the owner that, you tell the general manager that. When you losing 6 straight games or 5 straight games, you tiptoe through that building, You tiptoe, just like you're on a natural high when you're winning. But, he tiptoeing around that building. Anyway, let's look at it. 122-116 Pelicans. And we're going to get into some of these statistics on the show. Of course, that's pretty much what we're going to be breaking down for this segment. Then we'll get into the second segment where we'll preview the upcoming matchup. The Pelicans get ready for the Chicago Bulls. But before we get to that, let's get to this. The Pelicans like I said, this was an entertaining game. You could tell the Pelicans were really trying to get that streak over with. They really were. Only problem is the Thunder came into this game winning 4 in a row. So it's the momentum of having a team playing at a high level. They've won 4 in a row, now 5 in a row, and you're sinking. You're going the opposite direction. So you have to kind of fight off the fact that they are playing. Their system is working for them, and they're playing good basketball. And they played good basketball even when Westbrook, their best player, went down with that horrible ankle injury, man. It looked terrible. But let's look into some of the field goal statistics for this one. Pelicans shot 41 of 84 for 49%. The Thunder shot 45 of 93 for 48%. And the Pelicans shot 9 of 29 from downtown for 31%. The Thunder were 10 of 27 for 37%. One extra tree in the matchup. Free throws. Pelicans got to the line again 30 times, and the referees were blowing that whistle for both teams. Pelicans 25 of 30, better, a lot better from the free throw line, 83% versus what the Thunder did, which was 22 of 31 for 71%. The Pelicans didn't win the rebound battle. They lost by 1, 53 to 52. They did win the assist battle 27-26. The problem with the Pelicans in this one was the turnovers. And that continues to be the common theme with the Pelicans. 21 turnovers in this game for 28 points. They gave up 28 points off of 21 turnovers. The Thunder did not. And the Thunder gave up only 12 turnovers and 12 points off of each turnover. So every turnover they gave up 1 point. But you're surrendering 16 points to them on turnovers. When you go the minus way, you take what they take away from what you get, and you surrender 16 points on turnovers to these people. And then, of course, the fast break aspect of what the Pelicans supposed to be, they got beat 18-9 versus them, and then they lost a point in the paint battle 64-54. Now, statistics, like I tell you, looking at the stats to tell you the underlying story behind the story. The Pelicans basically lost this game because of turnovers. Remember, they were in this game up until one of the last plays when Anthony Davis threw the ball inbound and turned the ball over, and they ultimately ended the game. Turnovers get you beat. All right, the Pelicans, the underlying story with the Pelicans with turnovers in this. They were right up until the last minute. Had an opportunity, but threw the ball away. And ultimately threw the game away. You can't turn over the ball 21 times for 28 points and expect to win games. You can't do that. And like I was saying about the Pelicans' pace of play, it's not translating in the box score. It's not translating on the screen. You're playing faster, but you're turning the ball over faster. Playing fast doesn't help you unless you're playing fast discipline-wise. You know what I'm saying? If you're playing fast smart, that's when you win. If you're playing fast dumb and you're throwing the ball, you're playing fast and you just want to force the pace, and then you end up doing stuff like Antoine Moore would do, like throw a pass and not paying attention to where he's throwing the ball, or trying to run and then kicks the ball out of bounds, has to foul a guy. Stuff like that. These guys making a lot of mistakes because the coach is steadily trying to tell them play fast, but it's stupid to tell them to play fast if they're making a bunch of mistakes. I keep going over that. You're going to have to slow the pace down until they get good enough, until they get into a rhythm where they can be able to play that pace. And then that pace killed them during the stretch, to be quite honest with you. You're playing 5 games in several days. It's going to kill you. And then you talking about the coach, come on, let's play fast. That doesn't give you an advantage. What was that fast-paced play against the Utah Jazz that literally shut them down and even scored more points than them? That's not even Utah Jazz. They're not even a scoring team like that. You know, but they were able to literally take away from what the Pelicans want to do, which is basically get out and run. How about play some defense? How about protect the rim? How about play more than 3 guys off the bench? How about play Jahlil Okafor? How about play 2 of your best energy guys off the bench, like Frank Jackson and Sheik Diallo, consistently, and not have games where you play them and then sit them, then play them, then sit them, then play them? How they supposed to develop like that, Gentry? Seriously, how they supposed to develop? And that's why the knock I have on Gentry is not on the fact that most of his teams defensively usually suck because he focuses on the offensive end. And we know Ehrman is here to be the defensive coach, and he cut his teeth with Thibodeau and all them guys out of Boston. But it's not translating. It really isn't translating. We'll get to the statistics on that as well, the team statistics overall. But anyway, let's move into the interview section. Let's hear what Coach Gentry had to say about this, man, because I really wanted to hear what he had to say about this ridiculous loss here. But they were competitive in it. It just couldn't do it. Here's Gentry.
We had 10 turnovers in the quarter, and it's hard to recover from that at home or on the road. And at the end of the night, though, at the end of the day, we have 21 turnovers for 28 points, and they're plus 16 in turnovers and plus 10 in the paint. So to me, that was the difference in the game. And we talk about it all the time where, we're playing from behind way too much. And we always have runs in us. We've got good players, and some kind of way we find a way. But when you make a run, where you're like plus 12, you still can't be down 3 or 5. You should be up, 6, 8 points yourself. And so what we're doing is that we're putting ourselves in a position where we have to have the perfect storm to win. In other words, we dig in, we make our run, and we come back, but we're never ahead. And so in order for us to be ahead, it has to be the perfect storm, and that usually doesn't happen in basketball. But we're playing hard. We're competing at a real high level. Obviously we're still missing some pieces. It was good to have Darius back. You can see what he means to our team from the standpoint of spacing and keeping the floor spread. But, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. I just believe that we have to get ourselves back where we've got our team and we got all healthy guys and we've got our rotation and guys, we can keep them in the role that we anticipate them being in. And when we do that, we'll be okay,
Alvin, in that third quarter, when did it start to snowball? Was there something that triggered it? Because you guys had been able to maintain it pretty good there in the first half.
No, it wasn't anything. It was the last 2 minutes of the quarter, really. That was the disaster that happened. We turned it over 5 times in the last 2 minutes, and they scored on all of them. And that's where they got separation. And so, as I said, when the fourth quarter started and, we start to battle back, it's too high a mountain to climb, especially against a team that good. And, even without Westbrook, they got a capable guy. I mean, Schroeder, I thought, played great. And, he's been a starter in this league. It's not anything that it's not a role that he hadn't been in or, games that he hadn't been in. I thought he played great. And then obviously Paul. No, I didn't think so much it was bad decisions tonight. But you're talking about a team, and we said earlier in pregame that this is a team that they do a great job of playing the passing lanes. They're really handsy and they're really good at deflections and knocking the ball away and coming up with steals. I thought those were the ones that at the close of the third quarter, those were the kind of turnovers that we had. And what you have to do is that you have to be very protective of the ball against this team. And it wasn't so much those turnovers where we were trying to make great plays. It was just turnovers where, they lead the league in steals, and they didn't do anything tonight that we didn't anticipate.
Coach, is there anything that you'll talk to your team about as far as taking the bad road trip and putting it behind you before you have these 2 home games next?
Guys, we got 72 games left. So this is, we're disappointed in a road trip like this because I think anytime you're in the West or you're playing in the West, you don't want to have these kind of losing streaks at all. But, it is what it is. So we have to go back and regroup. And, we have a couple of games at home to try to right the ship. And then we're on the road again. So but I'm not going to – the one thing I talk to our guys about, and I think as a coaching staff, we got to adhere to the message we're trying to deliver them, and that's that we're going to stay at an even keel. We're going to stay at a state of equilibrium. We're not going to go too low. We're not going to go too high. We're just going to make sure that the message is that we're going to compete at a real high level, and we're going to get better because we'll practice it, and we'll correct the mistakes that we're making, and we'll be okay.
Coach Gentry, man, is somber as ever. And I would be quite somber, too, if my team was falling through the floor, winning 4 in a row, then losing 6 on the road, man. That's a hard pill to swallow. But guess what? A large part of that is because of the coach. You realize that your team hasn't gotten a rhythm yet. Usually, sometimes it kicks in early. Sometimes, like with the Pelicans. Remember, they struggle up and down, up and down, up and down. They'll win 2 or 3, then lose 1. They couldn't put together a streak of games to kind of separate that win versus loss ratio until the year changed over, and then late January hit, and then February, then DeMarcus got hurt, and then the trade for Nikolai Mirotic, it sparked the team. It sparked the team. The team exploded. And from that move, they were able to start building on something special. Now, the statistics of the day, sometimes you get confused. You say, well, the Pelicans are turning the ball over. Yeah, they turn the ball over. We talked about this. This is not news. If you're a regular listener of the show, this is what I talk about when you talk about pace of play. Now, at one time, they were the top pace team in the NBA. I think in the top 3 now. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the problem with the Pelicans is, if you look at the statistics and keep it simple, the Pelicans average 118.6 points a game. Might as well average it off and say 119. Right? That sounds good. That's good for 5th in the NBA. That's good for 5th in the NBA. Now, they push the ball. 26 assists a game. That's great. That's good for 3rd in the league. Now, the ugly stat, where in the world are the Pelicans struggling there? Why are they struggling? Let's look on the opposite side of the floor with the defense. They're allowing 121 points a game. You're not going to beat anybody if you score 119 a game and give up 121. That's good for 30th in the league. They're allowing 121 points a game. It's the Pelicans' defense. It's the fact that they're turning the ball over. And then you say, okay, it's the injuries to Anthony Davis. If AD was there, maybe won a few of these games they were. But I keep saying, small ball is beautiful, But not every damn night you should be playing small ball, having Anthony Davis matched up. And I said this last year and the year before. I don't like Anthony Davis matched up against guys like Rudy Gobert or Steven Adams. I keep saying that when we brought NBA insider Scott Kushner on the show. I talked about not having Anthony Davis to play the 5 position. We can run the 5 some nights, not every damn night. Not every damn night we run in the small ball rotation to have Anthony Davis at a center position. Not every night, Gentry. Not every night. Think of something else. Let's move a center in there and move Anthony Davis to 4. Allow him to play his natural position and thrive. What's wrong with Jahlil Okafor getting some starter minutes next to Anthony Davis? What harm could it be? They couldn't possibly get any worse in terms of defense. I mean, they're allowing 121 points a game. I mean, that's ridiculous. Anyway, looking at the rest of the team statistics in this, and it's just mind-boggling to me. The adjustments have to be made. Now, you're mixing up the rosters and rotate. I keep saying the bench is the key. The bench is the key. You know, the bench is the key. We can't have Anthony Davis score like a superstar every night and expect the Pelicans to win. You're going to wear him down. Eventually, he's going to get tired of that, and he's going to leave. But we see Drew Holiday stepping up. We see what Julius Randle doing. We see what Nikolai Mirotic is doing. And guess what? These guys are balling. And it ain't enough. They're still losing. So where does it come? You see Julius Randle with his effort. Nikolai Mirotic with his effort. Drew Holiday with his effort. AD giving a decent effort. And then you throw Etwine Moore in there who has a pretty decent effort. And they're still losing. Well, all these guys giving effort. You know why? Because the bench. You need to win as a team and not with a handful of guys. They're not winning as a team. They're not playing as a team. And that's why the Pelicans are struggling with a myriad of playoff caliber and Western Conference people. Individual statistics for the night. Julius Randle led the team once again, 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 28 runs. He was excellent in this game. 10 of 10 from the field, 2 of 2 from downtown, 4 of 4. He was perfect on the game. He obviously was my hand-picked player of the game. Behind him, of course, it was Drew Holiday. 22 points for Drew with 14 assists. Nice double-double. He had 4 rebounds, turned the ball over 6 times. But he had a stellar night. 8 of 13, 1 of 6 from downtown, 5 of 7 free throw line in 40 minutes. Drew Holiday was awesome. Anthony Davis put up 20 points and 8 rebounds in 38 minutes on 7 of 20 shooting from the field, 6 of 7 from downtown. Behind him was Nikolai Mirotic, 16 points, 16 rebounds for him again. So Nikolai Mirotic continued to do what he does, hustle. I know he ain't the best player in the world, but this guy gives you all-out effort every night. 16 points from him. He was 5 of 12 from the field, 1 of 5 from downtown, 5 of 6 from free throw line in 32 minutes. And the only other scorer in double figures, Ian Clark off the bench, 32 minutes, 4 of 12 shooting. He finished with 10 points on 1 of 4 from the three-point line as well, 3 assists in the game. After that, Etwine Moore struggled. I mean, he just had 4 points on 3 shots. But the problem with the Pelicans is you have to find the right bench rotation and stop with the small ball nonsense. You can't beat all these teams with small ball. Anyway, we'll talk about the rest of this game and preview the Chicago Bulls on the other side of the break. And we'll see if we can get to the bottom of what's going on with the Pelicans. So stick with me. You're listening to the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000. Celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registrars and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
There's a lot of reasons to be a fan, but only NBAStore.com has all the gear.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans.
Attention, everyone.
Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
What's up, Sports World? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Post Game Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share. And help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you chimed in with the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network. Second segment, still in the throes of breaking down the Pelicans 122-116 loss to the OKC Thunder. That's the 6th in a row loss for the Pelicans. 6 straight loss on the road. They come back to New Orleans 4-6. In a couple days, they'll get well against the Chicago Bulls. Hopefully, the Bulls are 3-8. And coming into this game, although the Bulls did win their last game against the Knicks 116-115 in 2 overtimes. Boy, you couldn't ask for more of a get-well game for the Pelicans than a struggling Chicago Bulls team. But we'll see who's more struggling. The Pelicans, obviously, a 6-game losing streak after a 4-game losing is very tough to deal with. Anyway, finishing up on the Pelicans and Thunder. Now, we talk more about the bench. Now, of course, they talk about injuries. Of course, Elfrid Payton's missing. Davis is still working his way back in shape. We know Julius Randle, despite his solid play, he is still suffering a bit with that foot situation. They did get Darius Miller back. He chunked in 9 points on 3 or 4 shooting from the field, 3 or 4 from downtown in 17 minutes of play. So he gave them 9 points off the bench. Still wasn't enough. And, of course, like we said, discipline-wise, the Pelicans playing fast, but a lot of turnovers. You can't beat the team. You can't do it. Slow it down a bit if you have. But like I said, that small ball lineup, really, it works in parts, but you can't play small ball against everybody. You got to have a big man line in which you put the bigs in, a 7-footer Jahlil Okafor, which I don't understand. If I look at the box score, and it boggles my mind to see both Frank Jackson and Jahlil Okafor are DMP'd. That's a coach's decision, by the way, and not play these guys in this game. You have to play Jahlil Okafor. You have to play Frank Jackson. My goodness, Frank Jackson's been injured for I don't know how long. He's finally healthy, and now you DMP'd him. The same with Jahlil Okafor. Okafor was hurt. Those guys are healthy. Let those young guys play. And guess what? They might not be the best defensive people in the world, but they are definitely offensive players that can give you some points around the rim. It just boggles my mind. He did go 5 deep on the rotation off the bench, giving 28 minutes to Julius Randle, 32 extended minutes to Ian Clark, who gave him 10 points. Tim Frazier played 8 minutes. He didn't score a point. Darius Miller, like I said, he had 9 and 17. Sheik Diallo played 10 minutes, gave him 4 points and 4 rebounds in 10 minutes. And, of course, Sheik had his brother played on the opposite team. His brother played one more minute. He scored 4 points in the matchup. But despite the fact the Pelicans, Westbrook played only 25 minutes and sprained and had that nasty ankle sprain, they still were able to pull it out behind Paul George's 23 points and then 22 points from Schroeder off the bench. Remember that guy? He was involved in perhaps trade rumors with the Pelicans, but OKC said, you know what, we can use a reliable point guard because Felton is getting kind of old and long in the tooth. They got the man, and they get a quality player. This guy comes off the bench when 24 minutes, scores 22 points against the Pelicans, and helps keep the pressure on to win this game. And like I said, we're not going to beat a dead horse here, but it's quite obvious. This team defensively sucks. Without Anthony Davis in the paint, I mean, come on. We got to have other players. We got to have other people that can move out there. And I keep saying the same thing. We need a defensive stopper outside of Anthony Davis that can come in off the bench and help. And I prefer a big man in that. I really do. You know, why not get you hear people like Tyson Chandler being released, Joakim Noah. I mean, try something. Somebody who's known for defense or something. Something, man. Something kind of help the team like they did when Nikolai Mirotic pulled the trade. Maybe that's why they benching Solid Hill. Who knows? But anyway, that's the cap on the game with the Pelicans, and it's very odd, but they lose the 6th straight. Now let's segue to the next game. The Pelicans will face on the 7th of this month the 3-8 Chicago Bulls, who are of course 2-3 on the road. The Pelicans are 3-1 at home, and boy, I know at that building said, man, it's good to be home after that tough stretch of games. Well, looking at statistics, the Pelicans might not be as comfortable as they like. Now, Elfrid Payton is still listed as being out of the game, although I'm hearing reports that he's getting close to coming back. And then you look at the statistics in this game. The biggest problem the Pelicans going to have is Zach LaVine. This kid's awesome. He's averaging almost 28 points a game. On 47% from. He's awesome. Wendell Carter Jr., the big man, is definitely a problem for them as well. And then, I mean, it's just they're a talented team, man. They're very talented. Zach LaVine is probably the best guy on that team, but they have the really solid piece. The Bulls done a terrific job of adding some really good quality pieces to their lineup. Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine. They were able to bring Jabari Parker in. Lauri Markkanen is there. Robin Lopez is still solidified. They have a decent bench with Justin Holiday, Bobby Portis, Wendell Carter Jr., and Cameron Payne, who came over from OKC. And then they have Ryan Orsadasikono, or if I'm pronouncing it correctly, who leads the team in assists. But anyway, if you look at what the Bulls are doing here, they're not going to be a walk in the park for the Pelicans. They're not going to let the Pelicans get well, on their backs. They're looking to build themselves. But looking at the statistics for the Bulls, they're averaging 108 points a game flat, giving up 115, and shooting 46% from the field, 42 rebounds a game, 23 assists, 5.5 blocks, 7 steals a game. They currently just won their first game in a while. They're 3-7 in the last 10 contests. They beat the Knicks in New York 116-115. Took them 2 overtime periods to do it. The Pelicans averaging 118.6 a game while giving up 121 a game, 48% shooting as a team, 46 rebounds a game, 26 assists a game, 5.5 blocks a game, 7.5 steals a game, losers of 6 in a row, hate to say that, and they're 4-6 the last 10. And of course, they're coming off a loss 122-116 to the DC Thunder. The Pelicans' top scorer is Anthony Davis, averaging right around 23 points a game on 46% shooting from the field. He also leads the team in rebounds, in 11.5 rebounds a game. And of course, the top assist man for the Pelicans is Drew Holiday. He averaging almost 9 rebounds a game. Give it up for Drew Holiday, as he really doing a terrific job. Now, I've picked the Pelicans to win the last matchup because I thought they were going to get well against the OKC Thunder, and they almost had if it wasn't for the turnovers, right? This is a game I think they really feel fortunate to be back home in the New Orleans Smoothie King Center. And I think the Bulls have a lot of talent, but they have a lot of issues, more issues than the Pelicans. The Pelicans are a team I think could utilize that and take advantage of that youth and ultimately get this win. Now, if the Pelicans lose this game to Chicago, Chicago might be a borderline playoff team, right? Maybe outside of the playoffs, you tell me. But in the end, the Pelicans at home, after a 6-game slide, this is the game. This is the medicine that they need to get well. And I think they get this one. Matter of fact, I'm sure of it. I'm 100% sure that the Pelicans get this win. Now, I'm going to start changing my predictions up, to be honest with y'all, because a lot of times I got love for the Pelicans and I pick from a position of love from the heart. But that's going to change dealing with the Pelicans. I'm going to start stop looking from a fan perspective in terms of the Pelicans and start giving you the reality view of who going to win these games. And I know some of y'all might say, well, Q, who are you for? I got to speak the real. But anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for chiming in tonight on the Pelican Post Game Report. As always, we thank all our new and established viewers or listeners of the show. If you like the show, feel free to go to patreon.com/PRO Media Network and place a donation. Outside of that, you can join our social media networks and you can support the show by supporting our sponsors. Those links in the description section below. From me and the whole crew at the Pelican Post Game Report, thank y'all for joining us. We'll see you next time. Peace.
You're listening to the Pelicans Post-Game Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
What's up, sports world? It's Big Q talking at you from the PRO Media Network, letting you know that we're attempting to make things a lot simpler on our listeners and viewers of our mini podcast. So as a result, we're leasing down a lot of our shows to have their own channels for your convenience. Starting soon, shows like Ring King Box, LSU's Tough Tiger Talk, the Pelican Post Game Report will all have their own individual YouTube channels. So thank you for working with us during this process. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your donations and support for our platform as we continue to improve moving forward. Peace. Tea is your escape. It's your opportunity to create a moment for stillness, for reflection, for yourself. It's your connection to a world of senses, flavors both exotic and familiar, energizing and relaxing. It's your retreat from an increasingly turbulent world. It's the perfect paradox of simplicity and complexity. Teabox.com connects tea to people, uniting the richest flavors of the finest teas with the curious, the cultivated, and the adventurous all over the world. The freshest tea you've ever tasted, from crop to cup. There's simply no simpler way to experience the wonderful complexity of tea. Teabox, packing up the freshness. Tea thrives on freshness, and so do they. Teabox temperature and humidity control facility ensure that tea is maintained. The teas themselves go into oblique bags with aluminum layers that protect them from excess moisture and light. With Teabox, shopping for fresh, loose leaf tea is easy because you make an informed purchase. You know exactly where your tea is coming from. So for the freshest teas in the world, check out Teabox.com. That's right, Teabox.com. Check the link in the description section below. Go to newfrog.com for all of your electronic gadget needs. Fast becoming #1 online seller of cell phone and accessories, consumer electronics, automobiles and motorcycles, home and garden items, 5D diamond painting crafts, electrical and tool supplies, computer and networking supplies, lights and lighting supplies, sports and travel items, toys and hobby supplies, apparel and accessory, mother and kid items, health and beauty items, and much, much more. Newfrog.com has up to 70% off on some products. And you can check out their weekly promotions for all the best deals. Remember, when thinking online electronics and gadgets, think New Frog. Newfrog.com. Check the link in the description section below.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
Vapor DNA is the absolute premier online vape store, offering an industry-leading selection of e-cigarettes, e-liquids, and accessories. Our friendly and knowledgeable customer service team is always ready to provide the best customer service experience to ensure you find what you're looking for. We guarantee our vaping gear shop products to be 100% genuine and the lowest price. We are so confident in our selection and our customer service. We will offer our customers a 45-day refund policy. That's right, a 45-day refund policy. We are proud of this offer for 3 simple reasons: quality, selection, and price. And that is the reason you should choose Vapor DNA for all your vaping needs. That's www.vapordna.com. Again, that's www.vapordna.com.